I have a question. Have you noticed that life, your life, is a battleground? Have you noticed that? It's a battleground in your own life. If you really, really, really pay attention, the whole world is like a, a school playground. The whole world. And everybody is trying to be tough. You throw something at me, I'm going to throw something back at you. Remember in school, um, if you liked a girl, you're in the fourth grade, fifth grade, maybe you're older, and you liked a girl, and you would throw a little piece of paper at her or something, and she'll pick it up and throw it back at you. Or on through high school, somebody call you a name or something, you throw another name at them. And everybody's trying to be tough, trying to be bad, trying to be tough. And and I noticed that I'm paying attention. I'm like, wow, uh, everybody's life is a battleground, and everybody is throwing things at each other. You throw something at me, I'm gonna throw something back at you. And all day long, you're on a battlefield. And if you notice, nobody wins. That's what's so weird about it. There are no winners on the battlefield. There are only losers. Nobody wins. Think about the left, so called right, and the left fighting. Who wins? Nobody. And then you go home and cry. You fight and you fight. And then you go home and cry. And then you wake up the next morning ready for another battle. You spend your whole life in a battle. It never ends. You get married, another battle. You make friendships, another battle. You got to go to work, it's a battle to you. Life is a battlefield, and it doesn't have to be that way. But all of our life, though, ever since we were kids, we were told you got to fight for yourself. You got to stand up for yourself, and you got to fight. And you spend a whole life fighting and never winning, never winning, because there's one battle after another. Even if it's in your own mind, fighting with yourself, you still fight. You fight with others, and then you go home and fight with yourself. What a horrible way to live. And you never lay down your weapon. And you live a horrible, unhappy, miserable life because you're always at war with somebody for some reason. You always got a cause you got to fight for. And then the world constantly giving you causes to fight for. She called you a name. She did this to you, or he did that. Or he took that, or she took that from you. Have you noticed, really, have you paid attention to your life? Always fighting for something. I'm fighting for my reputation. Or I'm fighting because this may happen or that may happen. Have you? And I was thinking about that girl that went over to from the TP USA, I think, Turning Point USA, and she went out with the ice. She had no business going out there fighting with ice. Why? Why did she put her life, Savannah Henderson? I mean Hernandez, and she went out amongst the ICE protesters, according to the report. Why? To fight. She knew it was at risk, but That fight got to happen. I go out and fight, and nobody wins. She didn't win, and they didn't win. The anti-ICE people did not win. And then all they do is take up another cause for another fight or go back and fight the same people over again. And what you don't know, because you won't get to know yourself, other than if you have to physically protect yourself, somebody come up to you and try to hurt you physically, there's no fight to have. There's no reason. Just think about it. If you really, 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 really think about all the fights you've been involved in. Did you get angry this morning already? Did you fight with someone this morning? Did you wake up this morning fighting with your wife or your husband? Did you wake up this morning fighting with yourself? Always a fight. It's always a battlefield. Fighting over race, black versus white versus the Jews, and the Jews versus the Abba people. Everybody fighting. Fathers fighting the mother over the children, the mother fighting over the children. Everybody got to fight. Aren't you tired of fighting? Can you imagine living a whole life without a fight? Without ever fighting with anyone for any reason? Can you imagine living that way? You're like, no, I can't imagine living that way. If I live that way, who will I be? What thrills will I get if I don't have somebody or something to fight for or fight with? Including fighting with the empty chair of your mind. There's no reason to be fighting, folks. There's nothing to fight for. There are people who literally believe. Just think about that, though. Your life is a battlefield. All of your life, you've been told you got to protect yourself. You got to be tough. And you think not fighting is a weakness. You don't know that's a strength. You don't know when you lay your weapon down, the battle for you is over, and you can just live a smooth life without worry, without stress, without arguing, without jealousy, without envy, without thinking about the past or the future, without fighting anybody for any reason. Can you imagine living that way? You were created to live that way. You were not created to fight. You were not created to join all these causes from one to another to fight. And you spend a whole life fighting. There's never a reason to fight unless you're trying to protect yourself physically. Somebody's trying to hurt you. You fight, you protect yourself. But life is a schoolyard battlefield. And if you look around or you watch the media, and then that's all everybody's doing is fighting. Think about it, they fighting. And they disagreeing. They trying to be tough. I'm tougher than you. I'm smarter than you, they say. I know what I'm talking about and you don't. They say. You don't have to fight no more. You can leave the battlefield and never have to fight again. And this, I promise you, the moment you leave the battlefield, you win. And for the rest of your life, you can have a peaceful life. You were taught wrong that you need to be tough. Everybody trying to be tougher than the next one. Everybody trying to prove that they're tougher. Life is a battlefield, and it doesn't have to be. Truth says, and the truth says, lay your weapon down and I'll fight your battle for you. You don't have to fight anymore. All you're doing is out there losing. Both sides lose. Neither side ever wins. But sometime in your mind, you say you did win, and you didn't. Because you still go home and cry at night. You're still lonely. You're still afraid. You still don't have peace. You don't have to fight anymore. Pay attention. You're not paying attention because you are on the battlefield in your in the illusion of your mind, your thoughts and feelings, or out there physically fighting with somebody for something. Isn't that amazing? What would happen if you stopped trying to be tough? What would happen if you laid your weapon down and turned the ship around and bring the boys home? That's a song. Lay your weapon down, turn the ships around. But really, just pay attention. You don't pay attention because you're so lost in your own fight. Free the pain from 1971. Bring the boys home. Fathers are pleading. Lovers are all alone. Mother are praying. Bring the sons back home. Amazing. You don't have to fight. Get off the battlefield. Fighting ice and ice fighting you. Fighting with your in laws fighting you. Fighting on the basketball court. Pool. What's that white lady name? She played basketball really good.
Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark. Poor Caitlin. Where is Caitlin now? She fought a battle and they were fighting her because she was the best. And now, you don't hear anything about her. She gave in. And now I wonder how happy she is giving in. Rather than not fighting at all, not responding to the enemy, just relax. What will happen if you stop fighting with anyone about anything for any reason? Well, you were created to do that, but you need love. The people who fight are lost and angry and on an ego trip, prideful, thinking that they are better than someone else, so they got to fight because they're better. Reacting and responding, reacting and responding all the time. And then you go home and cry. You still cry at the end of the day when there's no one around to fight with. Now you're by yourself and you fight with evil. What a sad way to live. It really is. You don't have to live that way. There's nothing to, if you really, 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 really paid attention, and you're not going to pay attention until you get to know yourself. But if you really, really allow your eyes to be open from within and see what's going on, you see with your physical eyes out there, but you're seeing an illusion. You're seeing a battle. You are seeing a reason to fight. You've been lied to. But if you really, really, really paid attention, you will see there's nothing to fight for. And you will leave the battlefield. You will leave the playground and stop throwing rocks because they throw them at you. or they throw them at someone else and you feel like you got to get in the battlefield. Have you ever thought to yourself, what would it be like if I just didn't fight no more? I don't want to fight no more. Too much talking, baby. Let's sleep on it tonight. I don't want to fight no more. Amazing. Why do you still fight? You can get old and still be fighting. You fight when you're young, and then you fight when you're next after the young part, and you fight as an old person, and you die, and you still never did win the battle. The real fight, that was Tina Turner. I don't want to fight no more. Too much fighting, baby. Why fight? Why not be free? You will see there's nothing to fight for. Too much talking, baby. It's amazing. If you really, really see there's nothing to fight for. But you've been taught you got to be tough. You got to protect yourself. You got to fight. And you got to join a cause. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of causes out there around the world that you should be involved in. They tell you. And both sides just fight. No one never wins. I remember the whole abortion thing. Two sides are fighting to stop abortion, and abortion got worse. And the side that's trying to fight against abortion lost. And the people fighting for abortion lost. Nobody wins. In the same way, when you fight with your imagination and the emotion, you lose. You don't win. It's only when you stop fighting with the imagination, when you stop fighting with the thoughts and the feelings, then you win. Have you ever thought that life was created to just live and not to fight? Lay down your weapons and the spirit of truth. Who will fight for you? Who is tougher? Just have you ever thought about this? Of all the who's in the world, who is the toughest person in the world? And above and in the spirit of truth. There's no one tougher than the spirit of truth. But the spirit of truth is the last person that you trust. You trust the lie of the imagination before you trust the spirit of truth. Oh, you go to church, you wave about it, you pray about it, you sing, you cry, you lift up holy hand and praise the Lord. And you don't even trust it at all. Before you get out of the church house, whether it's the synagogue or the Allah Wabba church, the Muslim churches, or the Mormon churches, or the Baptist churches, or the Jehovah's Witness churches, or the Orthodox churches, whatever the church, before you get out of there, you're fighting. Even if you're not saying it out loud, you're judging in your head somebody in that service. You're fighting. And you're reacting. And you're overreacting. And you never have a wait and see. You don't trust the spirit of truth at all. You sing about God or Jehovah, whatever you call him, Jehovah, or whatever, the Messiah. You sing about him, you talk about him, and that's all they're worth. Just words with no meaning, no trust, no anything. And then you fight. Never winning because you won't lay your weapons down. Do you know that Donald Trump, I guess Donald Trump, has been reported, the Great White Hope put up a poster with a Jesus outfit on, and the world fought. They reacted to it. They called him blaspheme. They called him everything. They got mad because one man took a picture, put it on the website of him wearing a Jesus outfit, and they called that blaspheme. Do you think that God or his son Jesus or the Holy Spirit took one iota of a, like, oh God, you blaspheming me? Do you think that they took 1 second to think about that? But you fought, you got mad, and you overreacted, and you called it blaspheme. And in your mind, because you love to fight, you want to be tough. You think you're fighting for Jesus. You just can't let people do that. That's blaspheming Jesus or God. And you literally, in your own mind, think that you're fighting for God, for Jesus. Can you get any dumber than that? You have more power than God? Oh, I can't hear you. You have more power than God, so God is so weak, he needs you to fight somebody because they put a robe on that Jesus looked like what Jesus wore. And you're fighting for that. You blaspheme. You're the blaspheme, you hate your neighbor. You're the blaspheme, you hate your enemy. You hate your friend. You hate your husband, you hate your wife, you hate your children, you hate everybody. But you call a picture with a robe on blaspheme. And you get emotion. People got emotional about that. It's just a picture on the wall. And in your mind, you think that there's something to fight for because you're tough. So you fight for Jesus. You're not stronger than Jesus. You're not stronger than God. If God was upset about that, he would have taken care of that. Don't worry. He can fight the devil. You can't. And then you felt better. You felt much better because you didn't put that robe on. You fought for Jesus. Think about that. You think there is something to fight for. You literally think that because somebody put Jesus on a cross upside down, or they wear a robe or they do something, that you're fighting for that. And you just feel good in your own mind because you feel a false sense of righteousness. You're fighting for Jesus. You're offended. The judge is offended. Think about that. The judge judging the other people, you offended because somebody else did something. And you call yourself righteous. You're better than the person that put on the robe or took a picture of Jesus upside down. It's just a picture. When will you become spiritual and lay your weapon down and stop just being so churchy and judgmental and lost? When will you dry your tears away and cry no more? I don't want to cry no more. It's too much talking, baby. You can be free. Leave the battlefield. There's nothing to fight for. It is an illusion. When I come back, I'm going to show you a couple of illusions. Back in a moment.
Hey, listen, before I